Okay, let's start again. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachaline Nivasisha Sanyavari Pashtatadeshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So, I hope you don't mind, but there's not much I can do about it. Perhaps you cannot hear it, but there's raging music going on here in Mayapur. Village music, Bollywood style music. Hopefully you can't hear it. Can you hear it?
Not really, Murli Prabhu.
That's good. I can bleed near it. It was going on to 11 o'clock last night. Anyway, what could we do? Hare Krishna. Welcome, Avasacharya. Thank you for joining us again. Hare Krishna. Okay, we've got down to our core team here. The core team. Do you remember when we first started? The first class, I said, eventually we're going to get down to a core team.
Yes.
I think the timings as well has caught a few devotees out, not able to attend. A few have listened to the recordings, I think. But anyway, let's get started. So we're on chapter 14. We're beginning chapter 14, which is, as you can see, is entitled Devotional Service in Love of God. So following from the discussion on Prema, also known as ecstatic love. But I just thought I'd read something from a book by His Holiness, another book by His Holiness Srila Shivaram Swami Maharaj called Prema Samput. Well, it's actually it's called Na Parayaham. And in there, Maharaj relates a wonderful description from a book called Prema Samput. It's by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and explains this wonderful, enchanting story of how Krishna disguises himself as a demigoddess and complains to Radha about why she continues to love and be absorbed in, or why she continues to love Krishna despite his so-called various wrongdoings. Anyway, that's the essence of the book, Prema Samput, where Radha is asked by this demigoddess, which is Krishna in disguise, to reveal the secrets of her love. And there's a wonderful discussion that then ensues, and it's called Prema Samput, and it's in Napariham. Now, in that book, there's, as we're discussing Prema, I'll just read this. Prema is so great that learned scholars cannot understand it. What to speak of others who claim to know it? One who attempts to instruct an inquisitive person by measuring Prema or comparing it to anything else has failed to comprehend Prema. One who hears such a teacher is misled. Okay, I'll read more. Such an exchange is but cheating. For Prema, someone is coming in here. For Prema disappears before both the discriminate and the indiscriminate. But that pure-hearted soul, whose mind is imbued with affectionate attachment, free from all speculation, alone sits on the throne of Prema. A couple more verses. The miseries of this world resulting from present and future happiness, family affairs, political intrigues, bodily pains, and unrequited love appear as insurmountable as Mount Sumeru. They are, however, conquered effortlessly by supremely powerful Prema, As a lion feeds on elephants, Prema removes all obstacles in its path, only to be nourished by those very obstacles. And one more. Proud of its bodily luster and immeasurable strength, a lion sleeps peacefully, unmindful of nearby dogs. Likewise, Prema, radiating imperishable affection and decorated with wounded pride, thrives without being disturbed by material distress. A lamp shines brighter in the darkness, so the glory of Prema shines brighter in material affliction. All right. But the main focus is wonderful description, but main focus is the first verse, which describes that although we're going to this subject, devotional service of love of Godhead, how could we possibly really understand it? Yeah, but still, let us try. It is given there in the Nectar of Devotion and in the Srimad Bhagavatam, so at least we can academically have a look at Prema and try to get some appreciation of its wonder and the glory. Okay, so this is chapter 14. Devotional service and love of Godhead. So this is the goal of our life. This is what we want to achieve. And yeah, the last chapter, chapter 13, describes how devotees at the stage of Bhava, they can have a vision of Krishna in their hearts. That's by the influence of pure goodness. So Krishna reveals himself to the devotees, but it's in their meditations, yeah, within their smaran, generally while shravanam kirtanam, specifically while chanting the holy name, that Krishna may reveal himself in the hearts of these ecstatic devotees at the stage of bhava, or maybe rarely in the fleeting visions. Yeah. So these devotees are very advanced, but they cannot see Krishna at will. That's only possible for those who are mature with love, and that's prema. They can see Krishna at will. Otherwise, Krishna may be a fleeting glance, maybe a manifestation within the heart. Yeah. We follow? Hare Krishna. So this is called sphurti, where there may be a manifest, or Krishna may manifest in his heart for some time, a few seconds, yeah, within a devotee's meditations. So there's different types of meditation, like we may gaze upon the form of Krishna upon the altar, or we may have a picture at home, and then we close our eyes, and through remembrance, we can picture Krishna. Yeah, that's a practice that some devotees do while they're chanting. Actually, they may envision, they memorize the signs on Krishna's feet, for example. And when that meditation is steady, then at the same time they're chanting the holy name. That's one practices that some Vaishnavas do. Yeah, or it may be a form of Krishna. But the devotee is invoking that form within the meditation by their intelligence. So that's different than what this is. This is a sphurti. This is where Krishna is manifesting himself. And it has nothing to do with the devotee's intelligence or ability to remember what they have been meditating upon. This is actually Krishna, who's manifesting through the Suddha Sattva spiritual potency. And let's just read this. Sounds nice? Yes. Hare Krishna. So the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, whose glories and activities are pleasing to hear, at once appears on the seat of my heart, as if called for, as soon as I begin to chant his holy name or his holy activities. So this is Narada Muni, who's at a stage of great ecstatic love. So Krishna's manifesting within the sound vibration of his glorification of Krishna. This is his realization. Yeah? On the seat of my heart. So that's sphurti. He's appearing there. Yeah. And then Maharaj quotes a verse from the Madhya Lila. The Mahabhagavat, the advanced devotee, certainly sees everything, some of you heard this verse, mobile and immobile, but he does not exactly see their forms. Rather, he immediately sees manifest the form of the Supreme Lord. Okay, now it's not as if a devotee doesn't see a red bus or doesn't see traffic lights, only sees Krishna everywhere. It's not exactly like that. What it's meaning is that the devotee's hearts are saturated with affection for Krishna, with love and affection for Krishna. So they become like, what's the word? Obsessed. They're in the world, they're moving around the world, but on the seat of their heart is one thing, and that's Krishna. Yeah. Now, I'll give a very mundane example, very, very mundane example, how we might appreciate that. Perhaps when we was a bit younger, some of us might have fell in love. Anyone fell in love? Girlfriend, boyfriend. I have to admit, when I was a young teenager, I was completely, besot. I was completely controlled by the material energy. And one time I had one girlfriend, and I was completely obsessed. Completely obsessed, 24/7. I was thinking, I was meditating. Yeah. And one time we had to go, I can remember we had to go for a family do. Well, I had to go into central, we had, and I really didn't want to go. I just wanted to spend, anyway, you get the idea. Well, down to details. But that's true. That is of course it didn't last, of course. Yeah. But this is, of course, it's a material example. Like the devotee, they see everything more. Well, so they certainly see everything, mobile and immobile. That's what he's saying here. But he does not exactly focused on what's their forms. He's focused on the Supreme Lord. Yeah. And another verse, this is from Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. He's given an example of sphurti. Just to try and remember this word, sphurti. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah. But the Supreme Lord Krishna, oh, it's here. I've just quoted that. Okay. That was from Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. Okay. So that's one. That's sphurti. Again, it's not a mechanical effort to recall a picture of Krishna within the mind by using our material. I mean, that's good. It's not bad. You can try to do that with our material intelligence. It's Krishna actually appearing. But this at the stage of Bhava for just fleeting a manifestation. Yeah. So he may come, so he may manifest within a devotee's smaran by dint of this spiritual energy. And it may then, generally, generally it will fade. But still, makes the devotee very ecstatic. And he or she will always hanker for that again. And it's just like the devotees hold these special enlivening contacts with Krishna. They hold it like a jewel in their heart. Yeah, it's something which they may always reflect upon. Anyway, Hare Krishna. So then there's something called saksad-darsana. Yeah. Saksad-dadvidvaina shamasta sastra. Yeah, so sakshat means direct. Yeah. So direct darshan. So that darshan, this is more fully than sphurti. Yeah. So this happens when one's loving affection for Krishna attracts Krishna. Krishna is attracted to love. Yeah, he cannot, although he's the supreme controller, he is controlled by love. And as we know, to the highest degree, that's the residence of Vrindavan. And to that highest degree in Vrindavan is Radharani. Yeah. But these devotees, when their love attracts Krishna, and because it attracts Krishna, that means Krishna comes along with his qualities and sweetness. Yeah. So at this stage, devotees' senses are not material. They're fully spiritualized. So they're fully qualified to relish very much this when Krishna is revealing in this sphurti. Yeah. He's fully realized to the spiritual senses. Now this is not in a devotee's heart. It's not only in a devotee's heart in meditation, but it's a physical vision. Yeah, it's not just within their smaran. It's actually Krishna manifesting. And there's many wonderful stories you read about this, where Krishna, you can read about it in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Krishna, out of his compassion and mercy, manifests himself to a devotee. And when Krishna manifests himself, he doesn't just come on his own. Sometimes there's vision of the cowherd boys. They see the cowherd boys. They see Vrindavan. They see Govardhan Hill. They may see all the gopis. Everything becomes manifest. Yeah. So that's saksad-darsana. Yeah. So it's a physical, say physical, not material physical, but they're seeing they're seeing it. They're seeing Krishna with their eyes. They're not just manifesting within their heart. Yeah. And then Maharaj quotes this verse, which is interesting because this verse is often quoted in regards to taking darshan of the deity. And Prabhupada in his purport speaks of it in that way. But also can be looking at from another level. And this is from the level of saksad-darsana, of a devotee at the stage of prema. It says here, "O my mother, my devotees always see the smiling face of my form, with eyes like the rising sun. They like to see my various transcendental forms, which are all benevolent. And they also talk favorably with me." Right? So look at it from different levels. One level is devotees appreciating very much the Archa Vigraha, but also this is also can be spoken of in conjunction to devotees who are seeing Sakshat Darshan of Krishna. Okay, we follow so far? Hare Krishna. Now, then Maharaj brings up a question, which perhaps I'll ask it, see if we can go in the right direction as to its answer. Some of you might have the book in front of you, so all right. Now, if at the stage of Bhava, devotees see Krishna in their heart, because if you see him in the heart, then that's complete, wherever it is Krishna. Why do they still desire to see him with their physical eyes? Okay, so Krishna manifests sphurti, but still desire to see him with their physical eyes. Isn't Krishna's manifestation of sphurti absolute? Alexander, for you.
Yeah, I think because we want reciprocation. It's more intimate in person than within our heart.
Well, I could say, but it's definitely Krishna's appearing in person in the heart. It's not as if he's not there. He's fully there. Satchit Ananda Vigraha is manifesting within the devotees. Sphurti, within the sphurti manifesting within the heart. It is Krishna.
I actually remember that it was answered. I just forgot the answer.
Yeah. Caught you out, you see. Yeah. Basically, it's a foretaste of having the Lord's companionship in the spiritual world. And it's achieved with the material body. So it's an earthly foretaste, Maharaj describes it.
Mm.
It's like, you can say, it's letting you know what's to come. Yeah, at the stages of perfection. So early foretaste. I can imagine one gets a sphurti, manifestation of Krishna within the heart, but then the desire then becomes so strong to actually have the Lord's companionship, be able to serve him in loving devotion in the spiritual world. So it's a foretaste. Yeah. So scripture does confirm that seeing Krishna, well, it confirms that seeing Krishna directly, this saksad-darsana, is the greatest perfection. There is no other perfection to be had with all the billions and billions and millions of universes to actually see Krishna. And that's the path we're on. And Prabhupada would encourage, he would say, one day Krishna will speak to you. One day Krishna will talk to you. One day you will dance with Krishna. I think in one time he said Krishna will kiss you. He's saying that to a young lady, you know. Yeah. So then, so how do these, again, back to Bhava, how do ecstatic devotees become qualified to see Krishna? So Maharaj then speaks on this. So if one's heart is pure, I mean, that's the idea. If one's heart is pure, it can act as a mirror for Krishna's pastimes. Krishna doesn't appear in an impure place. So that's Jeta Darpanam. Our whole process is to purify us so that Krishna may manifest. His pastimes may manifest upon the seat of our heart. But as that's not in itself sufficient qualification to actually see Krishna. So what other qualification is needed? So diving deep here. It's something that we spoke about before. Lobha. Lob means greed. Yeah, so Maharaj just focuses on this. Is that, yeah.
Is it because Loba is qualifies you for spontaneous devotion?
Eventually, yeah. Eventually, yes, yes. So this is what, if you want Krishna, Krishna will manifest himself to you. But that's the point. If you want, do you really deeply want it? I mean, really, really deeply. Does it keep you awake at night? Does it burn you throughout the day? This desire. Is there nothing else in the material world you want? If you desire anything in the material world, you want to be able to muster up the depth and strength of the lobha needed to obtain Krishna. Okay? Sounds frightening, no? But this is a progressive path. But as we practice bhakti, as we chant the holy name, follow the angas of bhakti, gradually, material desires will become evaporated in the sun of pure devotional service. Then the idea is that one will this desire, the deep desire. Yeah. So this lobha. Yeah. Jiva Goswami says that the root from which the desire tree of Krishna's direct association grows. Okay, the root from which the desire of Krishna's direct association grows is insatiable desire, lobha. Yeah, so this lobha, can be a big subject, and we won't go there completely, but basic lobha means it's an aspect, you're feeling separation. Greed means you're greedy for something that you don't actually have. So this is known as Ripalamba, yeah, or Ripalamba Bhav, and it's and we mentioned this before. I think this is what Lord Chaitanya came to teach us, the mood by which we execute our bhakti, our sadhana bhakti, okay, where even as practitioners, Prabhupada said we should chant the holy name like a child crying for its mother. Yeah, so we should have it's good to have an existential crisis. Existential crisis meaning that Krishna is far distant from us. So we're feeling we should try to feel separation. And there's a whole it's not this subject today, but there's a whole, I think hopefully it come up, the whole subject of how Vaishnavas, the type of sadhana they do to invoke separation. There's a whole nother discussion. But for now, let's just go with this, that Jiva Goswami is saying is that the greed is the tree of Krishna's direct association grows from this greed. Okay? So, one second. Okay. Sorry, listen to something in chat. Vijay Krishna. Can't speak now, we just said at the beginning. Hare Krishna. Okay, so then here's another interesting subject. There are non-devotees who see Krishna. Yeah. Because Krishna appears in the world. He appeared here. He appeared here and he enacted pastimes. He appears in a world where ordinary people, could we say, even demons see him. Yeah. So this needs some understanding. Yeah. So in other words, if transcendentalists, if some transcendentalists, those on the path of spiritual practice or emancipation, are unqualified for Krishna's darshan, how can a demon see him? How can ordinary people see him? We have this picture of Kurukshetra here. So Krishna could be seen by all the warriors on the battlefield. And a lot of them were demons. Now, demon means someone who hates Krishna, wants to kill him. They have no devotion, but they see Krishna. So Maharaj quotes from Jiva Goswami, from his Priti Sandarbha, saying that the non-devotees, they're only seeing a reflection and a bus of Krishna's form. It's Krishna, but it's not Krishna. Makes sense? Yeah. So Krishna states that in Bhagavad Gita. I should have had the verse. Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, here's the verse. I am never manifest to the foolish or unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. Yeah. As Krishna states himself. Yeah. Now, like then Maharaj explains here. So although pure devotees, they know that Krishna is a source of bliss, other or non-devotees thinks he makes them suffer. Yeah. Demons who eat Krishna's pastimes. Yeah. Some are enamored by his beauty. Some are just they think he is just so ferocious. Who is it? Like remember when the pastime when Yudhisthira chose Krishna to be the most worshipful person for the Rajasuya sacrifice, and therefore to receive the prestigious first puja. Krishna was chosen. Oh, actually, it's the next slide coming. Let me just get there. And someone didn't agree with it. That was Shishupal. He was actually lividly angry with Krishna being accepted as the most worshipful. He hated Krishna, especially as Krishna stole away the wife he was supposed to marry. He was fried. He didn't agree. Yeah, he wasn't devoted to Krishna. Now, let me just read some more notes here. So actually, when Krishna appears on earth, he's not truly seen by anyone. Only his unalloyed devotees, so unalloyed, pure devotees, can actually see him. So sometimes for some it might be hard to accept, because just by seeing Krishna, even inimical kings attained liberation. Okay, they did, but it doesn't negate the fact that they only saw on the bus. So that's that's Krishna. He's so even by seeing in a bus or reflected vision of his form in incompleteness, it purifies demons. It purifies ordinary people who happened to see when Krishna was on earth. It's like all those of Kurukshetra, they could see, even on the other side, they could see Krishna on his chariot. And some of them developed a sense of devotion. They were so attracted by what they saw. Krishna on the chariot with like here, this picture, and his beautiful features, sweat coming from his head, and etc. Some of them developed this, and they obtained liberation by being shot by Arjuna's arrows as well, because Arjuna was doing devotional service directed by Krishna. Now let's go here, and here's Mr. Shishupal, becoming decapitated. Yeah, it's quite a picture, this, isn't it? Quite a gruesome picture. They have since changed his picture, and they've kind of edited it, and they don't show this part where the heads come off the torso. They just show the Sudan chakra going towards his head. I think there might have been some complaints, So now this is interesting, because the moment that Shishupal was killed, he gazed at Krishna. At that point, he was cleansed of hatred and all other impurities. Because at that point, he didn't just see Krishna as his cousin and his constant rival, but he saw him as the Supreme Lord. At that very split second, when that Sudan chakra was coming to him at the speed of the mind, he realized it. I think, who else it described? Is that described like that with, I think it's described in the same way of Hiranyakashipu. At the last moment when when his intestines was torn out on the lap of Nrsimha, then he realized, yes, I have no power. This is the Supreme Lord. Yeah? Same with him, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So yes, so it says here, he saw the Lord's form, eternal form. He didn't see in a bus. He saw the Lord's form garlanded by the effulgence of the Sudan chakra and filled with immense power and glory. Immense power. Yeah. Sometimes I think described Putana, when she went to kill Krishna, she looked at Krishna and she took a step back. So much power she saw in baby Krishna. But her mission didn't, her mission was to try and poison Krishna. But she did, at some point she saw, but it didn't stop her trying in her kind of demonic insanity, trying to kill Krishna. Okay, so in other words, to summarize, non-devotee demons or even advanced devotees do not easily achieve the highest perfection of seeing Krishna directly. To receive the Lord's darshan requires a pure heart imbued with intense desire to see him. Not on a bus, to actually see him. So how to develop this mood? Again, it's service and separation. This is how to develop this mood. So this desire is cultivated through cultivating the mood of separation. And it's not so easy to come by. You try, I've been studying it for a long time, and do I feel separation from Krishna? Sometimes yes, but sometimes no. But we should try to feel separation. Prabhupada says that in one place. Devotees should try to feel separation. And I must admit, at those times when I try to feel separation, I can feel that that's my best rounds because my heart's there. I'm chanting, feeling a distance from Krishna. Yes. So even as sadhakas, we should practice this. I know I'm going another direction a little bit, but that's why as sadhakas in wanting to develop this mood, it's good to read the pastimes where devotees are separated from Krishna and their prayers. You know, then we can kind of get a ride on their emotions, so to speak. we can pick up. It's called what's that called? It's called word for it. Saksad-Bhava, the word for it. Where you pick up on the emotion, just like if you watch a horror movie or you watch a romance movie or whatever, then you pick up the same emotions. Yeah, as a mundane example. So we can tune into the emotions of these great devotees and their feelings of separation from Krishna. For instance, we can read about when Krishna is taken away to Mathura, and then the wonderful prayers of the gopis when Krishna disappears from the rasa dance, and their wonderful famous prayers, for example. Yeah. Okay. Alexander T. Yes.
I was wondering about the qualities. Sometimes devotees are very attracted to the qualities of Krishna, and they essentially are hankering after seeing the beauty, the opulences, and everything. And how can somebody go beyond that? Where is this like a gradual process when you don't care anymore about the qualities and opulences of Krishna?
No, well, when we say see Krishna, we're not just saying you see like a cardboard cutout. Just bear with me. Because when one is seeing Krishna, you're also exposed to his qualities. Yeah, it isn't separate. That's what devotees appreciate. They're appreciating his beauty, his lotus eyes, etc., and his beautiful form. But manifest within their eyes, as they see Krishna within their devotional eyes, they're also realizing his beautiful qualities at the same time. So that's what's overwhelming them as well. Actually, mainly, they're seeing Krishna, and Krishna is absolute. So they're seeing his qualities and they're appreciating his qualities. So it's not as if I've understood your question, devotees appreciating Krishna's qualities, how they can go above that. Well, you don't go above that. You just go deeper into that. You go deeper into, because those qualities are unlimited. So you don't
But
go above it.
but they can lead to a person to because in the beginning is in the mood of reverence or reverence, and if you are captivated primarily by these qualities, and
Well, it depends what qualities. I mean, Rupa Goswami gives qualities of Krishna as a means of udipan to be immersed in Krishna Smaran, and he gives that in the nectar of devotion. Yeah, he gives that in the nectar of devotion. So, but he does give qualities. Krishna is all pervading. Krishna is all. So that's a slight different subject. Slight different subject. A devotee will learn to appreciate as they advance. And now that's in these slides here. That's coming up. As devotees enter into the realms of Bhava, going into Prema, then they begin to appreciate Krishna not for being God, but for being the most enchanting, beautiful, loving person. Then that kind of floods out any awe and reverence. Yeah? Or if one is appreciating Krishna in the mood of awe and reverence, then that's the mood of Vaikuntha. And if they are going to do a sadhana of that, that's the path to Vaikuntha. But if one's on the sadhana and they're sadhya, is Vraj, then they're going to be meditating on Krishna's very charming, human-like, loving features and pastimes, and the qualities there, and the qualities therein. So that will be the path. That will be the sadhana which they will do in order to invoke that attraction of the resonance of Vrindavan. Yeah, but it's a good point. It's a bit of a side point, though. Yeah. Did that answer your question, or
A little bit. Yeah.
a little bit? Yeah. So, especially in the beginning stages, we have to develop appreciation for Krishna's glory and the fact that he's the supreme personality of Godhead. Yeah, because that will keep us on the path of Dharma. That will keep us on the path of righteousness. That will keep us on the path. Yeah, that's why it's described. So we should. It's very much there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna's opulences. He's grand. He's worldly opulences. But that's what's very intriguing about the residents of Vrindavan. They don't have any of that. So it's quite a fascinating, intriguing relationship that they have with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. Now, other devotees have, those in Vaikuntha or developing this attraction to Vaikuntha, then they will be attracted to his omnipresence, but especially in the beginning stages of Krishna consciousness, then this is what we will cultivate. Yeah. Knowledge of Krishna's greatness. But as we'll discuss more, it comes up here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we covered it. Okay, let's go here. So now Maharaj has given a definition of loving devotion. That was just an introduction, okay, to the glories of Krishna and Prema. Prabhupada would often quote this here. Even the most learned man cannot understand the words, activities, and symptoms of a person situated in love of Godhead. Yeah. So let's just unfold this a bit. Yeah, so Prabhupada often quoted this to describe Prema as inconceivable, okay, for us. And often the behavior of devotees at Prema is inconceivable as well. It's not, sometimes can be misunderstood. Yeah. And Prabhupada is mentioning that here. Even learned man cannot understand the words and activities of a symptom of a person situated in love of Godhead. Yeah. So in other words, Prema, that's is complete manifestation of Lord's internal spiritual potency, and it's completely untouched by anything material. It's untouched by the external potency. I mean, completely. So obviously, it's beyond the three modes of material nature. Okay, it's beyond time. They're beyond time. It's beyond time. It's way beyond the modes of material nature. So sometimes it's difficult for us conditioned souls to understand the behavior of such perfected devotees. Of course, it depends how they're conducting themselves under the influence of Prema. And that's coming up as well, if we get there. What's the time? 15 minutes, okay? Now, the reason this is brought up, because sometimes, sometimes such devotees called Prema Bhaktas, they may seem to transgress religious codes or even rules of devotional practice. Okay? So now Maharaj is going to speak about this. So he generally says Vaishnavas should simply offer them respect because we cannot understand. And then he mentions that if we're unable to make this kind of internal adjustment, then better we don't remain in close proximity to such ecstatic advanced devotees. Yeah. A common example is Vamsidas Babaji, if you read that book. Now he was particular life particularly he was manifesting as an avaduta. So it was particularly more difficult to understand him. Okay, he was situated in Prema, but he would smoke a hookah. Yeah. Inconceivable, he would act like a complete madman. I think one time, perhaps I'll need to check this because I've quoted it a couple of times, even quoting it, I'm not too sure about it, but I need to check it. And one time something happened. Someone, some thieves stole some of Gaunitai. He had a set of Gaunitai deities. They actually stole something. Some thieves stole something from the paraphernalia of Gaunitai. And he was blaming Gaunitai. He was chastising them. Well, why did you let them thieve it? He was shouting at them. Then he threw them both in the river. He threw the deities in the river. I better check that one out. Make sure I've got that right. I've got, what are other people thinking of him? If we saw such a man, think he's insane. He doesn't have love of God. The guy is completely off his rocker. Yeah, we don't understand in some, but sometimes, anyway, I keep saying we're getting there. If I keep saying that there, then we won't get there. Devotees have different dispositions, so I want to get there quickly, actually. So here's an example on the slide here. This is Shivananda Sain being kicked by Nityananda. Yeah, Shivananda Sain was in charge of the pilgrimage of Vaishnavas going from Bengal, going to Orissa, going to Puri. So he would arrange the tolls, he would arrange the accommodation, he arranged the prasadam, everything like that. And one time some arrangements didn't quite fall in place, as you can imagine. The prasad wasn't quite ready on time. So Nityananda was a little bit inconvenienced. He was feeling hungry. So what did he do? He booted Shivananda Sain in the stomach. Whack! Hard. Yeah. So, yeah. Here, where is it here? Yeah. So Srikanta Sain, this is Shivananda's nephew. All right. So he couldn't understand, as you can imagine. He could not understand. Enough is enough. That is not right. Can you imagine that you're going on pilgrimage somewhere, and a senior devotee kicks someone in the stomach because prasadam didn't arrive on time. There'd be complaints to the GBC, no? Abuse, there'd be a big scandal. It'd probably go on the internet. A big scandal, So that was Srikanta Sain, Shivananda Sain's nephew. He didn't understand. But Shivananda Sain was not the slightest bit disturbed. He was in bliss. So two different people one can understand the Vaishnava and one couldn't. And not only that, Nityananda kicked him in the stomach, and his wife was really, Srikanta Sain's wife, she was, if I got that right, she was taken aback and shocked. And then I think he went further. Actually, he cursed his 3 sons to die. Imagine what the wife made of that. And I curse your 3 sons to die. So, this is an example of Nityananda. He's he's an avadut. So, so Maharaj is now what he does say here. This is important. Here, I'll just read this so it could be more precise. So, immunity from censure does not extend to devotees in sadhana bhakti. Okay? Because practicing devotees are not directly and fully under the guidance of the internal energy, but are still in touch with the material energy and subject to its defects. So hearing this type of thing, please keep in mind that this type of behavior or this immunity from censure doesn't apply to us, all devotees in general, only exceptional cases. Yeah. So if someone hearing this or someone, the practicing devotee, may try to imitate the spontaneous behavior of great devotees, they're going to be held accountable, yeah, for whatever they do that's against Vedic principles. Yeah. Yeah, Marge quotes it. Thus, if they engage in irreligion, in the name of religion, they suffer a severe reaction. The activities of practicing devotees must conform in all details to standard Vaishnava etiquette. Neither should devotees accommodate, this is important here, neither should devotees accommodate the deviant behavior of other practitioners simply to avoid being criticized. And neither should devotees accommodate the deviant behavior of other practitioners simply to avoid being, and unfortunately, we've learned our lessons in ISKCON. There was one person who was acting as a guru, and he was doing irreligious and adharmic things. Yeah. And some devotees were a bit concerned, but then they was then that was criticized. They was accused of offending the guru for bringing up, and I won't go into details of the things he was doing, And also, Marge says there, and devotees who deviate from proper behavior should not intimidate well-meaning critics with the threat that these critics have become offenders. That's a subject as well. It's been it's a subject which won't go into depth. It's a subject today actually. As devotees, so those who deviate from proper behavior, they should be called out by those who are in a position to. And they shouldn't be always criticized. Oh, you're offending, you're making offense to a Vaishnava. If that Vaishnava is acting against religious principles, it's acting in a dharmic way. Yeah, a well-meaning who's concerned, a well-meaning Vaishnava shouldn't be criticized. Of course, time, place, and circumstance. Yeah, according to, it shouldn't be criticized and being accused of making of Vaishnava aparat. I guess it's a very bit of a delicate. It depends on the circumstance. Okay. Any questions about this? It's good to just balance things out because of speaking about the inconceivable behavior. So that justify.
I encountered a few cases like that, but because I was aware of this warning, I said, okay, maybe I don't understand something, so I can accept it. They probably know what they're doing.
Yeah, ecstatic devotee.
I've seen a devotee doing that, a person who would follow strictly the Vaidhi Bhakti doing something, but it didn't bother me because of these warnings.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. But at the same time, don't be naive. And sometimes you may see someone acting in a really bad way, and they shouldn't be acting that way. So that's also there as well. So sometimes we have to be a bit discriminating and see things with intelligence. And sometimes it takes discussion amongst other Vaishnavas. What do you think? I saw Prabhu doing this, and it was a bit strange. And it's sometimes good to discuss these things. An example is Srila Prabhupada. It's a wonderful example. Where Prabhupada would generally restrain himself. So he would internalize his ecstasies. Why? To facilitate the preaching of the Sankirtan movement and the organization of the Sankirtan movement. So Prabhupada was managing many, many devotees. He had to be practically engaged in running a worldwide movement. So for the most part, Prabhupada would internalize his ecstasies. But his ecstasies would come out in his purports. Yeah. He would lead a regulated life. he would have regulated life, you know. He would go for a morning walk. He would take his lunch at a certain time. He wasn't rolling around on the floor. Hurry, hurry, hurry. You know, he wasn't, going crazy in a kirtan and rolling on the floor and then becoming overcome with, he was managing. Class would only be half an hour, it's only 45 minutes. But Prabhupada said that his ecstasies, if you want to see how much ecstasy Prabhupada was in, you can read his purports. You can read his books. Prabhupada said that my purports are my ecstasies. And of course, as we know, sometimes Prabhupada will be unable to hold his ecstasies within and they would manifest. There are a few occasions that happened. Yes, Alexander.
I was wondering if a devotee explode in tears in the temple, what is the best way to manage this? Should the person who, he's in ecstatic, should he leave and kind of go somewhere?
Yeah, that's actually my Guru Maharaj. He explained like that once. If one is overcome, and it happens, hopefully it happens occasionally, overcome with kind of emotions and tears are coming, and one feels you better go to a private place. Don't make an exhibition of it. That's not the Vaishnava. The Vaishnava wouldn't do that. So yeah, go to a private place and yeah, that's what Vaishnavas will do. Yeah, they don't make a show. They find it. Yeah, actually, when Prabhupada, he was overcome one time singing Jai Radha Madhava. I think it was here in Mayapur, in front of hundreds, perhaps thousands of devotees, hundreds of devotees. And he went into this internal meditation, completely lost touch with the external world. I mean, completely. He was gone. I mean, his body was there, but his eyes were closed, and he went deep into this meditation. And the whole room became enhanced with kind of as if the whole temple room became turned into Suddha Sattva, where Prabhupada and Krishna were having a direct, personal, I don't know the detail of his meditation, but Prabhupada was lost to the world, and he stopped for some time. Everyone went silent, watching, and I was all overcome with ecstasy as well. And then gradually Prabhupada came out of it. And then devotees were having a discussion after that. What should they do? Should they have Prabhupada? What should they do? So then at some point, one of them got up the courage to ask Prabhupada, Prabhupada, sometimes you go into ecstasy. So we didn't know, we was wondering what to do when you do that. And Prabhupada became, when it was mentioned, when it was brought to Prabhupada's attention of what had happened, Prabhupada became embarrassed. He became embarrassed and he apologized. He wasn't, I'm really glad you noticed I went into ecstasy. Oh, yeah, someone noticed, did they? Oh, that's good. No, he was embarrassed like a young child, he said. He was embarrassed by it. So that was Prabhupada's mood. That's a pure heart. 7 o'clock, Krishna. No, it's 1:30 for you. 7 o'clock here. So yeah, there's a lot more to cover. Any final questions or comments? Yeah, I mean, how are we to really understand this? But it's good, isn't it? It's good trying to understand it. It's enlivening here to hear about these very advanced stages of Krishna consciousness. At least we should hear about it. Then we can develop a desire. Okay. All right, let's stop here then, and we'll continue next week. I think we've got just about halfway through chapter 14. And then after not chapter 14, excuse me. Yeah, chapter 14. So this ends part 2, I think. Then chapter 15 is part 3. where we're going to start speaking about the different stages of devotion. Yeah, from semblance of devotion to Shraddha, etc., all the way up. Maharaj is going to analyze the different stages of devotion. Okay. Okay, so thank you for your kind attention. Nice to get your association, devotees. That Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Suddha Cintamani ki
Hare Krishna.
His Holiness Srila Shivam Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Ki jai.
Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol.